What is going on, everybody? Week 12, Friday night stream. We've got our guy Scott Barrett, John Proctor in the house for the three-man crew. A little Thanksgiving, post-Thanksgiving 10-game slate. Excited to talk ball with you guys as always, and excited to have Mr. John Proctor on this week for his first Friday show of the year. It's good to have you, dude.
Yeah, man. It's good to be able to join. Need holidays to prepare for a show with a 1-year-old. So here I am.
Yeah, you got your hands full these days, so it's understandable, man. Scott, what's going on, man?
We got our first yeah man from Johnny. Over unders at 12.5. That's 2 sips of your beer. I'm happy. I'm excited to be here. This is historically one of our best slates. I guess everyone else, DFS players and folks around the industry are, still a little hungover. They're with their family. They're distracted. Not me. I don't have any family. I just grind. I didn't do it this year, but for like the past 9 years, I had McDonald's on Thanksgiving every single year. My girlfriend made food, but I was behind the computer grinding the entire time. So excited to make some money on this slate. That's usually very good to us.
I was just going to say, no, he has no family or friends as he sits with like 4 empty wine glasses on the table behind him.
Yeah, that's not me. I not drinking this year. Can't let it negatively affect the grind. So there's my girlfriend and her sister.
There you go. Yeah, especially wine late at night will just put you to sleep, man. Let's do it. Jags Texans. Should we talk Jags Texans? Best game of the slate. Get it out of the way first. 1.5 point favorites. Jags are favored. 47.5 is the total. A couple minor injury notes. Scott, unfortunately, your boy Noah Brown will not be back.
I know.
Pour one out for your boy. The best wide receiver in the NFL is unfortunately going to miss another game. It's not Justin Jefferson.
He led the team in receiving yards in each of his last 3. Who's the real wide receiver one, Graham?
Yeah, it's clearly Noah Brown. Noah Brown. Minor injury note on the Jags side. Tyson Campbell is going to miss another game. Zay Jones has been limited in practice all week. He's going to play. Let's talk it through. I mean, this is one of 2 games, Johnny, that like actually projects really well. Jags, Texans, Bills, Eagles are the only 2 games with totals above 45 on this slate. So we got a lot of angles to hit here. I think Trevor Lawrence will end up being pretty chalky over on DraftKings, but Johnny, I'll ask you first, man. Welcome back, Friday night show. What are your thoughts on this game?
Yeah, so I think everyone right now is projecting Lawrence to be really, really popular. But I'm not convinced that the industry. So like back in the day, Lawrence would come off this game. He'd be sort of like underpriced based on last week's performance, and then he would be, high owned. But the sentiment I get from just like listening to everyone's first looks around the industry is that I don't think people are really recommending him so much. I think people like this game. I think they like a lot of pieces in this game, but my guess is that by Sunday, Lawrence probably comes in around like QB4 in ownership. And I don't really know. I don't know if I want to play him or not coming off of a big game.
Yeah, the ceiling this season has just not been there. I mean, prior to last week, he had 2 games with multiple passing touchdowns. He was overdue for a little bit of like touchdown luck, and he did have it all at once. I'm with you there. I haven't made my mind up yet, but I mean, Stroud once again makes a ton of sense. Jags are a massive pass funnel. They're really good against the run, especially zone blocking runs, which is like the entirety of the Texans' run game. Obviously this game is extremely stackable. Scott, what do you think, man?
Yeah, I like Stroud more than Lawrence, a considerable margin, and we have Stroud showing contrarian levels of ownership, 4%, well below Lawrence, who, like Johnny said, is projecting to be super chalky. That's the cash QB for a lot of sites. Lawrence has done nothing this year and really in his career, except for last week when he had his second most fantasy points ever. Maybe Zay Jones is just the key. Maybe he's just the skeleton key to unlocking Trevor Lawrence to becoming the greatest quarterback prospect since John Elway, like he was hyped up to be, and Calvin Ridley too. I think I got clowned on it. I was listening to another show and they kind of made fun of those splits, but I think there's something to that, or at least like
Reeves said that that when I guess Ridley came back and still played the same Ridley role he's been playing for the last 6 weeks or whatever, so nothing changed. So he said that the splits thing that he had sort of called way back didn't actually happen, but it worked out, right? So
yeah, well, that was the thing is like I know Reeves was talking about that. I was looking into it by, ADOT and I didn't see anything. I looked at him by like the routes they were running, didn't see anything. But there's still, might be something to that. Matt Harmon was talking about how it means he's going to see less press coverage and, at least more defensive attention taken away from him. I don't know. Who knows? All I know is like the splits are there. So it injects more variance and uncertainty into the projection, probably more upside, at least like I think the 3 games without Zay were the 3 highest scoring games of any Jaguars wide receiver this year. And you look at that and I think that's a good argument against Christian Kirk, who he definitely outplayed Ridley this year. But he only has 1 game over 20 DK. That was week 2. He had 25. So I kind of question the tournament winning upside. He does have the better matchup this week. This is an extreme slot funnel matchup. I think the way I'd play it is Kirk in cash. I don't know how highly he's going to rank for me. And then Ridley for tournaments. I just like the upside there. And then back to the Houston side. Like I said, I do prefer Stroud. Minus that like 144.5 point game, like his ceiling is a little overrated. And you can't just say minus that one massive game, but a little overrated, but like the stackable upside is massive. Like there's been 5 wide receiver games with 30 plus DK. And typically there's at least one other receiver hitting. This is a great matchup for Stroud. It's better for Stroud than Lawrence by far. And it's a top 5 matchup for the perimeter wide receivers. So I love.
Can you play Stroud over Allen and Hurts?
That's the question.
Yeah, because he's going to be significantly lower owned. I don't think that he's a better play, but I think you certainly can. I think he's the next best expensive quarterback after those names.
I will say on DK, it's a lot tighter. On FanDuel, it's a much bigger spread. If anybody's playing over on FanDuel still, Allen's at 92, Hurts at 88, and then they still got Stroud at like 77. So it's a lot tighter on DK. I think.
So what I was going to say was Tank Dell 500 more expensive, 15% ownership versus Collins at 6%. I really love both of them so much. I think I want one or the other on the vast majority of my lineups. Dell leads all wide receivers in air yards over the last 3 weeks with like 200 more than the next closest, top 3 in targets, top 3 in XFP per game, top 3 in fantasy points. He's just been smashing it. Like I said, great matchup, but like, let's not sleep on Nico because, Tank Dell was going off when Nico was out. And then his first game back last week, he was better than Tank Dell in terms of XFP, saw better volume. He's hit 80 yards in 4 of 8 healthy games, same amount of 30 plus DK fantasy point games, both ranked top 10 in yards per route run. Both have this top 6 matchup, schematic matchup, a little bit more in Nico's favor. I just love them both. I think you can play both and on Stroud lineups. And I think I want at least one on like nearly all of my lineups. What do you think, Johnny?
I think Tank Dell is the best wide receiver play on the slate. So,
oh boy, all right,
just gonna play him. I think he's a better player than Nico Collins. I think Nico.
Right, that's Stroud's boy.
Yeah, he was fun to start the year. He's a rookie coming in with Stroud. It seems pretty clear that he's his guy. He gets open more often than Nico. Whether Nico had a better XFP last week or whatever. I still think that, by the end of the season, Dell probably outscores Nico by a significant margin. And so I'm just going to keep playing him. And every week it's like, well, we'll play Nico because he's going to be half his owned. And it's like, this is finally the week where I don't think Dell is going to, like, Dell's been like the highest owned wide receiver for 3 slates in a row.
Yeah.
So
You
now
don't
we
think he's
get
going to
him.
be chalky this week?
No, I think Michael Pittman is going to be high round, and
Yeah, he will be.
Yeah, and I just
Weird.
prefer Dell by a good bit.
Yeah, Pittman just projects really well. I mean, Dell projects amazing too. And Johnny, I'm with you on Dell over Collins. I think his ceiling is just significantly higher. It's not to say Collins is a bad play. Last week by first read target share, Collins led Dell once again, but Collins gets more design stuff, but Dell is just the better player, and he can get open at all the field levels. This game should be really tight too. This line is stuck at 1.5 all week. And, sharps are on Texans, but it's stuck.
Yeah,
Travis Etienne, I guess, as leverage.
What is the deal with this like playing Dearness Johnson thing?
Yeah, I don't think there's anything to it. I really think like there might be. I really dug into it, but I think it's just like extreme negative and then extreme positive game script kind of.
They had two blowout games back to back. Obviously, they got just demolished by the Niners, and then they just demolished the Titans. They also just need a backup runner, and Tank Bigsby is not it. So I mean, they're just trying with Dearness, I guess.
He ranked as the RB4 by fantasy points per game before that. I wouldn't put it at like the same usage. I'd put it at like 85 to 90%, but that's still, it's still pretty great. Second highest implied point total of the slate, slightly projected to win. I don't know. I just like him as leverage, I think, as a bet against this game going off, but I think it probably does.
Yeah, I just want to play Jonathan Taylor at 6,900. That's kind of where I'm at. I think everybody will be at that point too, though. Johnny, do you have a take on Kirk versus Ridley before we move on here?
I think Ridley's weekly ceiling is higher. So in terms of
that's probably the best point.
The Millie Maker play is always going to be Ridley, but I think Kirk's floor is significantly better week to week. So that's that's the consideration.
Yeah, and Scott, like you, I was looking into this too, man. The one thing that I did note, in terms of scheme, like they don't throw to Evan Ingram in the red zone at all, but Ridley has 7 end zone targets. Jones has 5. Kirk has 1 in the 4 games that those 4 have played together. So,
wow,
that's significant.
That's great. That's a great stat. I mean,
yeah, and I think if you're playing Lawrence or Stroud, I think Ridley, because of those like deep shots that he gets, has a lot of value in the full game stacks.
Yeah, agreed. Looking at early ownership projections too, just across the industry, not looking at anyone in particular, it does look like Kirk is projecting like at almost double the ownership of Ridley. And I mean, I don't know if I understand that. His floor, like you said, Johnny, is higher, but
I think that's probably where it's coming in. I mean, if you take like the baseline median projection, I think he projects slightly better and he's a little cheaper. But if you look at ceiling, it should be a pretty big gap.
Yeah.
I'll also say Evan Ingram's fine. He's fine. Like he's still
great matchup.
Yeah, perfect matchup. Still a top XFP related value. And remember that bakes in the fact that he has -9 receiving yards inside the red zone and 0 end zone targets.
Yeah.
I'm not playing him for tournaments at all, but like you can.
I mean,
it's fine.
I think ownership's going to probably.
No, he's going to be chalky. According to Darren.
Yeah, no, that's what I was about to say. Ownership's going to be on him. Well, McBride first, then him, or maybe Kincaid, then him. But one of those 3 will be the top 3.
Yeah, I think Ingram I would only play in game stacks. Otherwise, I wouldn't play him by himself.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, you're only playing him with Lawrence or with Stroud for sure. All right, let's move on to another good game. Bucks at Colts. I kind of back into all the bad games here, so we'll get through Bucks Colts here. This line's stuck at 2.5 all week. 44.5 is the total. The Bucks have some defensive injuries this week. Levante David and Jamel Dean are both out. Devin White and Carlton Davis are questionable, just super banged up for a defense that's.
We also just lost Shaq Leonard.
Yeah, they did. Yeah. Shaq Leonard. Oh, this is the Colts side. Yeah, Colts side. Colts lost Shaq Leonard. They cut him.
Right.
He made it through waivers, didn't he? Yeah, so he's a free agent.
It looks like Devin White's doubtful too.
That's huge, man. And Levante David is like, he's 33, but he's still balling. So, I mean, just a huge spot for JT. And a good spot for Minshew too. Honestly, I kind of like Minshew and Mayfield. Scott, what are your thoughts on this game, man?
Yeah, so I think you can fade Jonathan Taylor for GPPs. I think he's a must play for cash easily. Like this is what we've been waiting for, is this full on bell cow workload, and he's really gotten it his last 2 games, especially the last game. And this is a super valuable backfield. If you like by collective backfield XFP, this is a top 3 backfield. Now he's getting basically all of it. The arguments against him is like he is going to be mega chalk. And, he hasn't been very efficient this year. And even with some injuries, like I think this is a brutal matchup. Vita Vea is a run stuffing goat. Tampa hasn't given up a single rushing touchdown to a running back all year. And if you were going to fade Jonathan Taylor, I would go heavy on some of these guys who I am all over, and that is Michael Pittman and Josh Downs. If you just look at what they've done in Minshew
Pittman's going to be the highest owned wide receiver on the slate.
Who is?
Pittman.
All right. Well, then I don't have to say too much more than that, but just insane usage, volume, and production without Gardner Minshew starting. What I will say though is that is a little impacted by Josh Downs. He only played on 20% and 25% of the team snaps over his last 2 games due to injury. But prior to that, with Minshew, he was averaging 8.5 targets, 16.1 fantasy points per game. It's high-end wide receiver 2 volume and production. He also had 97 yards in a game. Minshew came in the second half, and he gets a best possible matchup. Pittman's matchup's great as well, but much more so for Downs. Buccaneers are giving up the most schedule adjusted fantasy points per game to slot wide receivers. He's 4,800. If you have Pittman as like a cash play, like I have Downs right there with him.
Yeah, Downs is a smash play, and I think that people forgot that he was hurt for 2 weeks, and projections really aren't accounting for it.
Yeah, it's funny you say that because I pulled it up before he got hurt. I wanted to know. So Minshew came in the middle of 2 games, so it's really like basically 5.5 quarters, but 5.5 games. But in those 5.5 games, Downs has 31 catches, 347 receiving yards. Pittman has 37 for 387. I mean, it's basically
that's
identical.
Close. Yeah,
damn, it's identical. And Pittman has 56 targets. Downs is 43.
And one's uber chalky, the other one's being slept on in a perfect matchup.
I'm with Johnny. I think Downs is the nuts. Pittman's is a great play, but 4,800 for Downs is really, really strong.
Yeah.
Go ahead.
I think the projections on both of them are a little bad because they're baking it. I mean, it's like Downs played, so the projections are accounting for generally that people use the 4 most recent games. So it's like, considering Downs as playing, and I mean, he wasn't even close to full go.
Yeah.
So we got to talk about the quarterback then. I don't just like him as leverage in tournaments. I also think he is in play as the cash quarterback of the week, maybe stacked with Jonathan Taylor. So you capture all of the touchdowns. He's like always been underrated for fantasy. He averages 18.6 DK per career start. That's more than Justin Fields. That's more than Tua Tagovailoa. That's 2.2 more than Trevor Lawrence. He's super cheap. He has a better matchup than Trevor Lawrence. He has a better matchup than Baker Mayfield. This is a great matchup. I think it's also a pass funnel matchup. So I like him a lot. What do you think, John? Do you think he's in play for cash, or you think you just got to pay up? Because it does kind of look like that sort of week.
I don't think you need to go down to Minshew or Baker in cash, but I like both of them a lot.
Yeah, I think he has the better matchup than Baker. The issue there is like it's a pass funnel offense, whereas like the Colts are kind of a run funnel offense against a pass funnel defense.
I kind of like Baker a little more. He's had a little higher floor and a little higher ceiling. And they can't run the ball. I mean, this is a pretty good matchup for
Minshew had that 34 point game. Baker, I don't think, is over 22 all year.
Yeah.
But like just game, this, right. You're right. But just this year, they're pretty close.
Yeah. Yeah. I just think for this week, Mayfield has a slightly higher ceiling.
I will say that Minshew's the easier stack. I mean, you're just doubling.
Double
Pittman
Evans on the
Downs.
bring back.
Yeah. I mean, Colts have had, and this is kind of, you're kind of like, can make this analysis for almost every defense, but the Colts have faced a really easy slate of passers, but they've given up like 310 to Derek Carr. They give up 320 to Stafford, 384 to Stroud. So like any good quarterback that's faced them, like they've definitely had ceiling.
Yeah, I mean,
I don't know if I put Mayfield in that bucket, but hey, just wanted to.
I remember. I mean, we were saying that the Colts were like Coors Field for quarterbacks, and then they just faced like nobodies the last couple of weeks. So people, I think, forgot about what they were doing early in the season. Like, I mean, they faced Walker, Watson when he hurt himself again, Derek Carr.
Yeah, Watson
but
got
Derek
hurt
Carr went for 310 and 2, and then Bryce Young and Mac Jones. So
yeah, it's not good. Yeah, and their games at home, man, have been really good. Every single game except for one against the Titans has gone for 52 or more combined points. So I like this game quite a bit. And I think in general, just generally speaking, for the slate, Jags, Texans, Bills, Eagles, and then I think it's this one.
Yeah,
pretty easily. I
think both defenses in this game are good too in tournaments because I think it's like an up-tempo game with two quarterbacks who make mistakes, and I don't really think they're going to get played. So I think Colts with Taylor and Bucks with White makes some sense because they're like a little expensive for what they are, but I think they have big ceilings.
Is Rachaad White a cash must play?
Probably. Annoyingly so.
Is he going to be overrated for tournaments because his ceiling's overrated?
No, he never really ends up owned in tournaments all that much.
Right.
Like smaller field stuff, he gets played a ton.
Yep.
But I think
he gets played in single entry stuff like every single week too.
Yeah.
So strong.
But when it comes to like the 150 max, he always comes in sort of under owned.
Yeah.
Shout out to us for being all over him in season long, but this is exactly what Johnny and I have always talked about is with these bell cow running backs who are on the field for like every snap and get 5 or more targets every game. Like they have the most solid and consistent floor every single week. Like every single week, Rachaad White should be a low end RB1 at worst because
but he was going to lose his job to like
Sean Tucker.
Sean
Tucker, baby.
That's who it was.
Stuff like matchups don't matter. Game script doesn't matter. Bad offensive line doesn't matter. But these all are arguments against a ceiling. So, but actually, this is like a top 5 matchup. So
it is. Yeah, this Colts defense has not been good since Grover Stewart got suspended. Yeah, I don't know what it's worth. I mean, Tampa, like I said, just can't run the ball at all. But it is a really, really good matchup for him. Yeah, I mean, 6,100 is just an egregiously low price at DK. I'll mention Kate Otten. I mean, he's kind of in play.
No, we got Freiermuth and we got Michael Mayer.
Yeah, I'll never play Kate Otten again.
I heard someone talk about Granson actually, but I don't know.
No.
Yeah, I don't.
Thank you.
There's like 4 injuries I'm missing. I don't get it.
Every time you play Kate Otten and you watch him, you just want to kill yourself. He's horrible.
he is really bad. That is a fair point. Yeah, just for game stacks. But Colts are gettable against tight ends, but yeah, just for game stacks.
Yeah.
All right, Pats Giants, baby. Let's go. 33.5 total. Get excited.
Tommy DeVito week. I was just talking about Gardner Minshew career fantasy points per start. Well, guess what? Like Tommy DeVito's top 6, the GOAT.
Yeah, he just absolutely nuked the Commanders last week. So did Dak last night. Got a JDR fired. Real quick, Darius Slayton, he's not going to play. You're not playing Giants, guys. I will say Dexter Lawrence is not going to play in this game. That is a nice boost for Ramondre. He's a stud. Dexter Lawrence.
Man, that's huge.
Yeah, he's a stud. Ramondre's 5,800.
Him and Max Crosby are guys like I legitimately think they're out. Move the line like 4 points.
I don't know if it's 4, but it's definitely like a point and a half at least. Yeah, it's a really strong spot for Ramondre. Obviously, Zeke will mix in for like a 60-40 split. But I don't know, man. It'll be Mac. I think it'll be Mac Jones and Zappy under center. This offense is so bad, but they're getting 3.5 against the Giants.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, Ramondre's coming off a 20 carry game, but
that
Zeke
was
got
off the bye
13.
too.
Zeke got 13 too, so it's like really gross. But
Ramondre is actually performs better in losses than wins. Like, but
not this year.
I literally think it's one of these things, guys, where it's like
It
they
is
have
this
Demario Douglas and that's it at receiver, and it's Stevenson and Zeke. Like these are their only two guys that can like move the ball offensively for them. And everybody else in this offense is dead.
Ramondre is a guy I think that I've heard him mentioned around the industry. If he ends up getting he's a guy, if he's popular, I'm not going to play him. But if he's just sort of middling, I think matchup's good. Line makes sense. Pairs well with Patriots defense.
I legitimately hate his guts. Like he hasn't been at all good this year. Zeke is going to mix in way more than anyone wants. He's popping in all the optimals, and that's the only reason he's going to get played. But like he's the guy I fade, and then like
the most annoying thing in the world was like the 1 week that he had some ownership was when he had that 60-yard touchdown.
Exactly.
He's done absolutely nothing.
I know.
Yeah.
His ceiling. But even with that, he scored like 23. I mean, his ceiling is so crap because Zeke gets goal line carries.
Right.
Yep. His floor is fine, but yeah. Yeah, I did want to know this is the best spot that Ramondre has had all year, basically, though. I mean, Giants are not a good run defense to begin with, and Dexter Lawrence is awesome.
Could this game be? Does this game have like slop fest potential where it's like actually no, definitely. Demario Douglas, Johnny, is he in play for cash?
If we knew that, not for cash,
right.
And I think like he projects right now well, but I think people are going to tweak that. If we knew Mac Jones was starting, I think he'd be fine. But it's like if Zappy's going to start, who knows who Zappy's guy is, and whatever.
Zappy
I mean,
stinks too, man.
Yeah,
I'm with you. This is a top 3 matchup for him. Giants especially suck against the slot.
we've got multiple. Like Josh Downs is a much better play. He's 400 more. I think Justin Watson is interesting. You've got A.T. Perry. So it's like we've got these 3K guys. We're probably going to have Rondale Moore and Greg Dortch. There's a chance Marquise is out. So it's like, do you really need to play? Yeah, Trenton Irwin. Do you really need to play Demario Douglas? Probably not, especially if he's got ownership.
Good call.
Yep.
What about Saquon?
Yeah, that was.
I want to just write him off because they have like a 15-point implied total, but he gets all the work. He looks good.
No.
Okay.
I'm not playing a guy who's coming off of 2 receiving touchdowns on 5 targets.
Yeah, and it was.
Watch him get 3 this week.
That was a little. He's getting 3. Yeah.
Thinking back on it last week, I know paired with Giants defense made so much sense, but I'm not doing it this week.
I mean, it makes sense this week against Bailey Zappi. Are you kidding me?
You know what the Patriots should do is start Malik Cunningham just to see if there's anything there. They should.
I mean, missing their best player on defense.
Yeah.
Nah. And I think Patriots defense is legitimately good. I mean, the Giants offense was facing the worst defense in the league last week.
They're really good, and I think they're going to be really chalk with the Chiefs.
Yeah,
those two. I kind of align with Proctor on Saquon, and really just Giants in general. I'm just kind of Xing those guys out this week. This total is just egregious.
Yeah,
it's so bad. All right, we'll move on to another egregiously low total game, Panthers-Titans. But there is a really strong running back play in this game. It is Derrick Henry.
Yeah, Chuba Hubbard week.
Yeah, baby. Miles Sanders going for 100 and a touch. I don't really have many injury notes in this game. Treylon Burks is going to miss another game. But yeah, it feels like Derrick Henry week, 6,400. Smash spot. Proctor, what are your thoughts on this game, man?
I think Henry's going to be really popular.
That's my.
And I think that's where I am trying to decide where to go with him. If he's not popular, I do like him. I mean, his downside this year is really, really, really bad. In the past, it was at least okay, he's going to get 80% of the snaps, but now it's one thing goes wrong and Spears plays the rest of the game. So at ownership,
will
that's
say,
pretty terrifying.
Yeah, he's getting the price decrease at the right time. I mean, he was in like the 7K range, and we were just kind of ignoring him for the last like month. Now he's 64. And it's like, all right.
And does he have a 40-point game in him anymore?
That's a fair question.
I don't think he does, but I think he has he has 30-point games in him.
Yeah.
Like he hasn't been bad this year. Like he's to me the same player he's always been, which is just like by far the most game script sensitive player in fantasy. Like Tajay is not really touching the ball. He's getting those like pass blocking snaps.
How many of those like explosive runs has Henry had this year though?
Well, he's also had significantly fewer carries
and he's also facing the highest rate of 8 men in the box at like 65%. I mean, it's absurd the attention he's getting.
But that's always the case.
Yeah, but it's even higher this year.
All right. Yeah, I guess
more this year. Like,
I guess
they don't have anything besides him and Nuke.
I mean, he literally has one 50-yard run on the season.
Yeah,
which is like not his usual.
Titans are finally favored. Nuts matchup. Super boom or bust, but still a great tournament play.
Yeah.
I think it just depends on how owned he's going to be.
Question I have. Oh, go ahead.
No, I was just going to say, I feel like he's going to be way more popular than you think.
You want to hear a Galaxy Brain take?
Okay.
I wonder if he's positively correlated with Will Levis in the same way that Ryan Tannehill always was. Like maybe a function of like this team being so reliant on play action and like Henry gets them to the red zone. How's that for a sneaky stack?
No.
All right. All right. That's why it's good to have you back, Johnny. It's good. I need to be put in my place every once in a while.
No, I think Carolina is a good pass defense. There's too many good cheap quarterbacks. We have Minshew. We have Baker Mayfield. I mean, I'd play Desmond Ridder over Will Levis.
Yeah, Titans offensive line has been garbage all year, and Levis is really bad under pressure. I mean, he's bad on pressure and under pressure, and they're really struggling on third downs because of it.
I'd like to see him against the Lions. That'd be fun.
Oh my goodness, man!
Give him some time in the pocket, please.
That was an unpantsing.
It was bad
from Jordan.
Opposite side.
Yeah.
I was ready to make a case for Adam Thielen if Sean Murphy Bunting was out. He was gonna go up against some like UDFA nobody in the slot, but he's fully healthy. He's back. The volume's still there. It's honestly never left. He just had this like brutal string of like back to back bottom 5 matchups, and before that he was a top 3 fantasy wide receiver. Unfortunately, it's another tough matchup in the slot for him.
And his quarterback stinks. That's a problem.
Well, that's a huge component. So I don't think there's anyone in play on Carolina's side.
Tommy Tremble, Hayden Hurst is out. Should play pretty much all the tight end snaps.
Do you like him over Mayer or Freiermuth?
Not
at ownership. I might.
Mayer's actually good at football, at least though.
Yeah. Well, right now Mayer projects for like no ownership, but I think that's going to change.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a pass funnel spot where you like want to play passing weapons from Carolina if you can, make yourself do it. So you could do worse. He's 2,600.
Like it.
And I think he pairs well with Henry if Henry speeds up the game. I think Thielen's fine too. Everyone just sort of has given up on him, but he's 10 and 11 targets the last 2 weeks.
Yeah, right. Yeah. The Scott's Point volume is still strong. I was going to mention something that just slipped my mind. Shoot. Okay. Well, that'll do it. Steelers Bengals. Let's get the next game here. Steelers are 1.5-point favorites. 35.5 is the total. T. Higgins is out. Minka Fitzpatrick is out on the Steelers side. We got Jake Browning versus Kenny Pickett, baby. Let's go. There will be maybe 35 completed passes in this game. Should be a really, really fun time. I don't have much here, boys. To be honest, I think
I actually do have much.
Okay,
Can you
please,
believe it?
please
Can
give
you
me
believe
the
it?
much. I know you like Fryermuth. That makes sense.
Well, I'm Fryermuth is just 2,600 or 2,900, and this is a guy you were drafting top 10 in season long.
Bengals stink against tight ends too.
Yeah, he's been hurt for a while. Only played like 50-60% of the snaps last week, but maybe that jumps up. He's just like a fine punt in a great matchup. Deontay is popping as far and away the top XFP value of the slate. And, you know, maybe with Matt Canada gone, this like offense is actually a little bit better. Just a bet on target share. Najee versus Jaylen Warren. I think you could argue they're both values. I would definitely give the lean to Warren. Like worst case scenario, volume's about even, and then Warren's just significantly better. How much does like Najee's red zone role really matters for this team? Joe Mixon's like a slight value. He's finally scoring touchdowns. I think 4 straight games, maybe the run more with Browning. Trent Irwin, I legitimately like. He has the backup connection working in favor with Browning. He's also significantly more productive than Tyler Boyd when given a full-time role. He's just like a fine punt. There's probably betters within that price range. And then Jamar Chase, I think, is a legitimately good contrarian play. Like I know Jake Browning, hear me out. I know Jake Browning probably sucks ass, but like we've seen suck ass quarterbacks uplift really good wide receivers to like elite heights. Like Amari Cooper outscored Chase last year. Adam Thielen, he's a top 10 fantasy wide receiver. He's been a cheat code whenever T Higgins was hurt or out. So I could see him like getting 15 targets. And
bro, I just have to say, I had the StreamYard in another tab, and I knew Johnny was shaking his head, and I knew it. I switch over, and he's just vehemently shaking his head
the whole damn time. All right, let's
Yo, Jake Browning has not made a start since the Rose Bowl in 2019.
Yeah, but how many yards did his wide receiver one have?
Yeah, he was the Pac-12 Offensive Player of the Year in like 2016.
I know.
So crazy. I've never seen a story like this. I mean, the dude was on practice squads for the last 5 years. It's absolutely wild.
I always think about that quote where Peyton Manning's OC was asked, "Hey, how come the backup quarterback never gets first team reps in practice?" And he's like, "Because if Peyton goes down, we're fucked. And well, folks, we don't practice fucked."
Yeah.
I mean, did you watch Tim Boyle today, Scott?
Ooh.
I mean, it's just like, I think honestly, I think the Steelers wax the Bengals.
Okay.
On Sunday. I think the Steelers offense, and I'm with you, I think Steelers offense will play significantly better than they have, at least for one game. I mean, we often see this where I don't think the players liked Canada either. I mean, he was
see the kicker?
yeah. Chris Boswell wanted him off the team. Like
that was insane to his face.
Yeah. I mean, he is like hated by the entire like community, the like whole state of Pennsylvania. Like this guy just being gone, I think is just like a positive for the team overall. I mean, I'm not like jamming in Steelers, but I'm with you. I like Warren. I think Warren just has more juice. So in terms of like 25-point games.
My read on the Canada firing is like it was obviously overdue, but Tomlin made Warren the starter. And then Najee got 12 carries again last week. He got 16 the week before. Like I think Tomlin wants to see more of Warren, and it's obviously warranted. And Canada just kept sticking him in this rotation. So to me, I'm really interested to see what Warren's usage ends up being, especially in the red zone, because Najee's just been like not dominating, but like close to dominating. It's like 67-33 split in the red zone. So I like Warren again this week.
Yeah, if I'm playing a Steeler, it's Warren for sure.
He's just so much better, and like that matters.
Yeah,
and at the very least, like volume is close to even. So
yeah, and Scott, the main reason I just have no interest in Chase is because we have Diggs and Brown in a legitimately good game.
Right, and the price is closed.
Tank Dell in a legitimately good game. We have Puka and Cup in a good game. I mean, we just have all these like studs in good games where I'm just not playing Chase in a game with like a 35-point total.
I mean, I think honestly, if you wanted to this week, especially if Cup plays, and I think Cup does play, you could just chop the receiver pool and just be like, I want AJ Brown or Diggs at the top, and then just nothing until I get to Dell. You know, I think that makes some sense this week.
Yeah, I don't know why. Why is everyone like still projecting Cup as like maybe not playing? He didn't he have three full practices in a row? He's playing.
Limited yesterday. I haven't seen the practice reports.
He practiced in full today. I thought it was.
There you go.
I thought it was 2 in a row.
Let me see here. I got it up.
Do we know what position he's playing? Is it wide receiver or decoy, Johnny?
I don't know. Good question.
Yeah, full practice today, limited Thursday, DNP Wednesday. Okay. He's not even on the injury report.
Yeah, he's going to play.
Yeah.
Do you want to move over to that game?
The whole industry is still just like they just like ate turkey like an hour ago.
Yeah. Yeah, we need to update our Cup projection too. Yeah, Cup's going to play. You know, it doesn't take me like completely off of Puka. We'll get to that game, but here in just a second. Actually, it's the next game after this one, so we'll save it. Saints Falcons. Saints are getting 1.5. This was a pick 'em, so kind of interesting movement there. That's some of the Carr news. He's going to play. Saints have some legitimate injury issues, though. Michael Thomas went to IR. He has a knee injury. Marcus Lattimore, before the bye, really messed up his ankle. He has a high ankle injury. He did not practice all week. He's going to miss. For whatever it's worth with Desmond Ridder and Drake London, it definitely helps. Lattimore missing. And Kendre Miller's out with an ankle injury, and that does matter for Kamara because he was mixing in like a little on passing downs. Should just be all Kamara this week. Falcons, no notes. They're going to start Ridder. Matt Collins is out. I don't have much on Falcons. They're the same team every single week. Johnny, what do you think about this game, man? I'll kick it to you first.
I think I have some interest in A.T. Perry. I will give Davis Maddock credit for noting that like Rashid Shaheed still played sort of his same role when Thomas left, and A.T. Perry sort of stepped into the Thomas role. And if that happens again, then he's probably like a significantly better value than Rashid Shaheed. I mean, Shaheed's a good play, but to get a guy who's going to step into a full-time role at 3K is pretty good. Falcons defense has been bad for weeks, and I think people just sort of haven't fully realized it. So I do like Saints pieces, especially with Thomas out. We can play pretty much everyone else and expect a little bit of a boost. Kamara, though, he's a tough sell at 8,400 with how much these other guys are playing.
Yeah, to me, it's the touchdown ceiling is really concerning. You know, since Taysom kind of became this new like Taysom red zone role, Saints carries his last 5 games. Taysom has 10 inside the 10. Kamara has 9 and no touchdowns. That's huge concern, especially at his price tag.
Yeah, he also had some like weird comments on Derek Carr today.
Did he really?
Probably won't help his role.
Uh-oh.
Yeah, they asked him if he was like excited about Derek Carr playing, and he said something like, "Well,
he wants to see Jameis like everybody else."
Yeah, he's like, "Well, he's our starting quarterback." And he made this like weird face. So yeah.
Oh boy. Well, A.T. Perry also wants to see Jameis starting. Throwing it across the field was insane in that last game. Yeah, I don't have too much, Scott, to add to that. Yeah, I really don't. I don't have a whole lot from this game, which is weird. This game does project reasonably well, but I don't think it has too much of a ceiling to really shoot out. I mean, Carr just is not at a ceiling all year.
Does Bijan get 20 touches again?
Yeah, that's the question to me. Is Bijan this week?
Yeah, so I listened to that Arthur Smith presser everyone was talking about. It's really hard to like come away with that and feel good about what you heard, but because Arthur Smith's just probably a liar. But it did seem like he kept saying it's like I've told you all year rookies got to come along. They need to prove it first and blah, blah, blah. They're used to smaller season, blah, blah, blah. But he was like, he's done everything the right way. And so, yeah, you saw that uptick and we're going to continue with that uptick. And so like the vibe I got was usage is going to be comparable to what it was in his last game, which like still wasn't amazing, but it was solidly good. I think just like at this price, he's a strong value because he's like so much more talented than this price tag. He also, if you throw out that stomach bug game, then like he is a value based on like average fantasy points per game versus salary. I just wanted to walk back real quick to the Saints wide receivers. I do definitely prefer Shaheed. It was weird. A.T. Perry actually led the team in routes run. But Shaheed still did see like a slight uptick, 74% to 87%. But what's most important to me is that he ran 56% of the routes from the slot, and this is a top slot funnel matchup. So that is my lean. Although shout out Danny Kelly. Danny Kelly thinks like A.T. Perry is really good at ball and is going to explode this week.
Yeah, when I said value, I just mean in the sense that like he's 3,200 and Shaheed is 4 something, but Shaheed would obviously project for better.
Yeah. Yeah, that's all. I think that'll do it. Let's talk Rams Cardinals. 4 games in the afternoon slate. Anybody doing early late slates? Let's say 6-4 split. Rams are 2.5 point favorites. Was a pick 'em, so markets are hammering Rams on the road. 44.5 is the total, and like we were just saying, Cooper Kupp's going to play. I'm surprised at projections right now too. Kyren Williams,
Marshawn Lattimore out for that Saints game.
Yeah. Good spot for Drake London.
Yeah, it'll be sick for the 4 targets that Drake London
gets. it's a great spot for 4 catchable targets.
Yeah.
He'll get like 6 targets. 4 of them will be catchable.
Yeah.
I noted in start sit this week. London had 7 for 70 in that one game.
Yeah.
That Lattimore missed. But
I will say that the Saints Falcons game is like that one game that I just keep looking at is like, if this game shoots out, I wouldn't be completely shocked.
Yeah, I know. Like I said, it's like one of the games where it's like, man, the pieces here make sense, but
yeah,
they all just kind of project meh.
Yeah. If Desmond Ridder wins another fucking Millie Maker, I'm retiring.
I don't know if you'll have to worry about that this week, my friend.
He's won 2 of them. I hate this guy.
Yeah. All right, let's talk through Rams Cardinals. Kyren Williams is going to play. I was listening to Sean McVay's presser, and he was asked, shout out to the Rams beats for actually being good at their jobs. Like one of the few teams that actually have good beats and ask good questions. But he was basically saying like, we got to be mindful of Kyren, but we're basically going to give him the full role. And, I think that's kind of where we're at.
So did you listen to both pressers? I listened to them like 10 times today.
Yeah.
I think the biggest key too is that the reason that they cut Henderson instead of Freeman is because I guess Henderson doesn't play special teams and Freeman does. And I think the biggest thing that they're not going to do with Kyren this time around is there's no way he's going to play special teams.
They had him returning kicks in like week 5.
Yeah. So I think that's the big thing that will change. But I think he's going to, he'll play 85% of the snaps instead of 95.
I think, he'll get 83% probably. Yeah. The quote was, he wants to be able to give Williams a good workload and ride the hot hand. And in McVay speak, that means Kyren Williams is going to play every snap he can freaking handle. Dude's missed 5 weeks. I was reading on Monday, another McVay presser saying like, he looks fully healthy to me. He should be full go. I'm expecting Kyren to be full go. Scott, it's Trey McBride week again, man. Another good spot. Rams are horrible against tight ends. I have not seen any news on Zach Ertz, though. Johnny, have you seen if they're going to bring him up this week?
No. I forgot he existed.
There you go.
Who is this?
Exactly. Who? Her?
Who'd you say?
Zach Ertz. I haven't seen any Ertz.
No, I don't think so.
Still on injured reserve, Bo Barak. That was 7 hours ago. So
let's see. Ertz was working on the side, not in actual practice. So there's no way he's playing.
Yeah. Yeah, he's not coming up.
Yeah, just to put a pin in Kyron Williams, I think he's legitimately one of the best plays of the entire slate. Top 5 matchup. People kind of sleep on how good he was Todd Gurley, like Todd Gurley with like 85% of the production, but like, same snap share, same like massively run heavy involvement inside the red zone.
Dude, I told you he was going to be Todd Gurley the day that Cam Akers was inactive. And then
you did say that. That was a great call. But yeah, McBride, he's going to be 33% owned, and you can make an argument he should be well above that on this gross slate. Just insane usage, insane volume, and he gets like the nuts matchup once again with Michael Wilson out, with Hollywood Brown seriously hurt. Rams play zone at one of the highest rates. That's great for McBride. He crushes zone. The Rams are the league's top tight end funnel matchup. They rank 4th best against outside wide receivers. They rank dead last against tight ends. On a slate like this, if you want to just, kind of lock him in, makes sense to me. I think he's an awesome play.
Yeah. I mean, I think you can just lock in McBride once again too, Scott. I'm with you on Kyron. I think he, especially, we'll see what ownership looks like. It's early, but man, I mean, he's projecting to be under 10%. And especially compared to him,
the partial quotes.
Yeah. I was just going to say vis-a-vis Bijan Robinson, like it's clearly Kyron to me. Cardinals have been absolutely horrible against running backs all year. They give up so many touchdowns, man. Like his touchdown equity is really, really strong.
Dortch and Rondale with these wide receiver injuries. I want to just play Dortch because like I fucking love him, and I've been banging the table for years that he's just straight up better than Rondale, and every time he's given the opportunity, he's just made me look dead right. The issue is it's an extreme tight end funnel matchup and a strong slot funnel They're just like Rams are so good against perimeter wide receivers. Rondale also, like, he's seen an 11x increase in air yards per game with Kyler, although it was hilarious. Like first play of the game, 60-yard deep throw touchdown, and then he does nothing the rest of the game, and Dortch goes off. I don't know. Either of you guys have a lean here. They're both super cheap.
I really like Kyler with all 3 guys.
Yeah,
really, with all these wide receiver injuries in a not good matchup, like Rams, they got destroyed by Dak, but outside of that, they've been pretty great.
Yeah, they've been really bad against running quarterbacks, though. And that's what we want.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And Kyler's been great.
Richardson had 10 for 56 and 1. Hurts had 15 for 72 and 1. Dobbs had 47 yards on seven carries. They haven't faced any other scramblers. I think I'm with John. I think Kyler's the nuts. Like he's really strong tournament play. Like the nuts tournament play this week.
He's probably my favorite tournament quarterback.
Yeah.
Damn,
it's just really easy to pair him. It's like the Jordan Love scenario from yesterday where narrowed route tree. We really like McBride. Everyone really likes, we really like Kyron. People really like Puka. Everyone likes like all the pieces from this game, and no one's going to play Kyler. I'm not going to play, we're not going to play Stafford. So the avenue that you go is playing Kyler, and as much as he has run since his return, I mean, 6 and 7 attempts, touchdown in each game. He has the same ceiling as, Lawrence, Hurts, Allen, Mahomes. And he's going to come in at what? 3-4% owned, something like that.
Yeah. And he's still 6,900. I like Kyler quite a bit. Honestly, that if I have like one take for this entire show, that was going to be this, like that Kyler's probably my favorite tournament play too. Just looking at FanDuel stuff, I was going to say, he's 8K over there, a little stronger on DK at 6,900, but he's really strong, man. And, it's so easy, play him with McBride, bring it back with Kyron or one of the Rams receivers. Marquise Brown's connection with Kyler has just not been good. Like,
I think he's had
missed a touchdown. Yeah.
Worst possible matchups. That's what I'm blaming it on, but it could be
that too. They just missed on a touchdown in the first game. Like the ball just clanged off of Brown's hands. He's hurt though. Like I don't know. I think it'll be Dortch And Scott, I'm with you. You asked Rondale versus Dortch. I'm just playing Dortch. Like I just think he's the better player. Rondale got deep on a couple. He got deep last week or 2 weeks before that. They missed him. I think it was on like a sideline throw. They missed him, but he got the 48 yarder last week. Dortch is just. I think he's just good.
I want to hear your guys' thoughts on Puka. With Kupp back, like it kind of feels like a headache. I'm legitimately worried about Stafford's health. This is a guy who plays through everything, doesn't tell you what's going on, doesn't play particularly well when hurt. He was the second least accurate quarterback in the NFL last week by accurate throw rate. That said, like it's an amazing matchup for either wide receiver. They could get there on volume alone. If Kupp is a full-on decoy, Puka is probably the best play of the slate. So I don't know. I'm kind of pulling my hair out. What do you think, Johnny?
I'll probably just rotate these pieces through with my Kyler teams. And then if I'm playing a one-off from this game, it's Kyron. So probably just really not going to play Kupp or Puka. There's too many other guys who I really like to sort of figure out what's going on with Puka, especially when I think he's gonna have some ownership.
I just think Kyron's a really strong play, and that's I don't know.
Yeah.
I've been waiting 5 weeks to play Kyron, and this is the spot. Cardinals here. I mean, they're favored.
Yep. And then on the note of like Stafford dying and Kupp being hurt and everybody being hurt, I think the playing Connor and Cardinals defense is a little interesting too.
I like that. And Scott, you were right, by the way. Connor's just not getting dump offs this year, and Kyler's stealing red zone work too. So, I like the call for tournaments, but yeah, Connor's in terms of projection, it's just the ceiling is not totally there like it was in previous seasons.
His route share did jump last week.
Yeah, it did. But Kyler scrambles when the first or second read's not there so often too.
Right.
I forgot to look at this. I want to look and see what Connor's targets were and Kyler starts. I'll go back and do that. All right, Browns at Broncos, baby. Here in Mile High, Broncos are 1.5 point favorites. This moved through 2.5. Browns getting some money. 36 the total. Denzel Ward is going to miss this game for the Browns. Russ and the Broncos are just not throwing that much. They're playing so slow and just not running many plays in general. Broncos, Kareem Jackson is suspended again. He got 4 games for his hit on Josh Dobbs. This game's gross, man. Absolutely gross. Johnny, I'll ask you to talk us through this game here.
Yeah. I think mostly I don't want anything from this game. I thought Javonte Williams was kind of interesting, but he is projecting for some ownership, and you're still losing work to other players. But I think him paired with Broncos defense is a little interesting.
I like it more than Connor, honestly, because I think we know his role, which is like vintage Mark Ingram with Sean Payton, where he's with really good positive game script. He's like the entirety of the offense. And so, if DTR fully implodes, I could see him smash. I think last week what happened, the game was a little too tight and saw him just get totally scripted out. But
yeah. I mean, I think that's the same thing for Connor.
Yeah, that's true.
If there's an implosion, these guys will hit.
Yeah.
I like the other running back too, though.
Yeah. Javonte's red zone role is really strong though. Like he's getting pretty much all the work. But yeah, Perine and McLaughlin are both getting so many targets. It definitely hurts, the floor for sure.
Yeah.
What were we saying, Scott, though?
I like Jerome Ford as a contrarian play. No one's on him. He finally was given work inside the red zone last week. The only issue is like Hunt saw an increase in usage everywhere else, but they're probably gonna run this offense through the RB. He's played pretty well, and like this is the nuts matchup this year, right? So it's kind of weird that like absolutely no one wants to play him. And then I think at ownership after Trey McBride, the best tight end play of the slate is David Njoku. If you look at what he's done in DTR starts, he's led the team in targets in both weeks with 7 and then 15, which is the most of any tight end in any game this season. 29% target share with DTR. It's a top 3 matchup really strong value. Don't think anyone's on that, but they should be. Could be like the new Tyler Huntley.
Awesome. Yeah. The matchup's awesome, and Amari Cooper, man, just has not seen any catchable targets with DTR.
Well, he's not going to see it with Patrick Surtain.
Yeah, and this is a horrible spot. So I like the Njoku call. And I was just the only real note I had from this game that I had in my notes is over on FanDuel, Javonte Williams is 6,400. I think he'll be the most popular running back after JT this week over there on FanDuel. So
I think you're probably right.
It'll probably be him or I think Pacheco. We'll get to that game. McKinnon's out.
Who you could
looks like it'll be Taylor, Pacheco, and Williams.
Okay.
Connor will be popular there too. He's 6,600, so it'll be those four.
Yeah. Javonte's a strong play on FanDuel. I'm not saying he's a bad play at all. Bad chalk play, but 6,400 is a great price for him. Were you going to say something, Scott?
What about Sutton? Is he in play at all? He's just like scored a touchdown like in almost every single game this year. Maybe stack him with Denver's DST, or is that just too thin in a brutal matchup?
Why would I play Sutton with? No. Now
Right.
you got me confused. Is this where that person in our chat was getting the idea of stacking wide receiver and DST?
I'm just thinking like better field position, more red zone drives.
No, dude. Pick sixes are like the stone worst thing for wide receivers in all of football.
What about a pick almost 6 tackled at the 1 end zone target touchdown Sutton?
Who would you think that would be better for, Scott? The running back or Portland Sutton?
They've kind of been using him in that role. I don't know, just insane end zone targets, end zone receptions.
Yeah, Russ just throws it up to him, man.
It's working. All right, fine.
Yeah. All right, let's get on to a good game here. Bills, Eagles. Both the games at 425 are good. Eagles getting 3.5, over-unders 48.5. Real quick, Bills tight end Dawson Knox is out, and I don't know if he's going to be back for their game in week 14. So we're going to get more of this 3 wide receiver Bills offense with just Kincaid. They have some more defensive injuries. Dane Jackson and Taylor Rapp are both out in their secondary. Bills have just been so beat up all year, but they keep doing it. McDermott's a great defensive coach, man. Give him that much credit. Goddard is out. Their backup Calcaterra is out too. Just condenses this offense a little bit for the Eags. Fun game. Yeah. Scott, I'll throw it to you first, man. It's top of the board. It's Allen versus Hurts. Obviously if you're MMEing, you're just mixing these guys in, but what say you?
Yeah, I have no answer for who's the better play, Hurts versus Allen. I went back and forth in it. I wrote a bunch of words. It's just like so insanely tight. These guys are like dead even, and like I don't know. I think this is definitely the game to stack. I think this.
Yeah.
I kind of want to bet the over. I think Hurts is now. You could play double stacks. This offense is just so much more highly concentrated. We talked about Zay Jones being like the skeleton key for Calvin Ridley. Like maybe Dallas Goedert was the skeleton key for AJ Brown. I don't want to overreact to just a one game like what happened last week, but for 2 years now, it's like no Goddard has been a tremendous boost to Devonta Smith. Not so much in terms of targets, although there is that, but just like way more efficient, way better production, and it has hurt AJ Brown. And then you look into schematic matchup is way more favorable to Devonta Smith and too high. You look at how Buffalo has a top 5 pass rush, how much that benefits Devonta Smith in the underneath stuff. You could look at a bunch of different, and like all of it's popping for Devonta Smith, but I feel like Oxen's razor is just, well, what's happened this year? And it's like Devonta Smith has 0 good games, 1 good game, and AJ Brown had like 125 yards and a touchdown in like 7 of his last 9. So just play that guy, dummy. I don't know. This is giving me a headache. Jalen Hurts versus Josh Allen is giving me a headache. So I'm hoping Johnny can clear this up for me.
Man, I wish I could. I'm trying to figure out like what's going on with Devonta Smith's the injury status.
I saw that too. Yeah. Oh God.
Yeah.
He's not on the injury report anymore, but
yeah, I mean he's playing, they said he's going to play, but he didn't practice like all week. So I don't know.
Yeah,
pretty weird.
It was a knee injury. And they pulled him off the injury report. So I don't know. But yeah, I don't know either. But I saw that too. It could be absolutely nothing.
I feel like teams should do that more often. Just like place guys on the injury report, even though they're fine, just to mess with you.
Dude, Belichick's been doing that for years, and everybody's freaking limited. It's great.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, it might be nothing. I really don't know.
Yeah, it might be, but I mean, he didn't practice, which is not.
Well, he only missed Friday, right?
Yeah, but I think he was limited DNP, right?
I thought he was full, and the concern was that it was just.
I'm only seeing DNP today.
Yeah, it was just one DNP, but I thought he was limited the other two.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
I don't know. I gotta look. Either way, definitely a concern. I mean, I think AJ Brown is fine. I probably wouldn't be too worried about what Goddard means for it. I think the double stacks are in play too. It's just really expensive to play Brown and Smith. It's cheaper to play the Josh Allen doubles. And then, you're just hoping for Gabe, Shakir, or Dalton Kincaid. But I do think the Allen Diggs Kincaid stack is going to be really, really popular.
Yeah, Kincaid will be chalk for sure. And it makes sense. I mean, it's such a good spot. I do like Shakir. Eagles are giving up the most yards to slot receivers. That's where Kincaid's at, like 75% of the time. And this game obviously has massive shootout appeal. So, if we get a ceiling outcome, a lot of pace and plays, should be a lot of targets to go around. So, yeah, you're doubling Allen for sure, I think. And then, I mean, bringing back is easy. I don't have too much else to add in this game. I mean, Stephon Diggs obviously in a perfect matchup. Eagles are just so bad against boundary guys. Darius
great schematic matchup too. Yeah, he has really struggled the past few weeks though. Like maybe that means something.
Yeah, they played Surtain and then they played the Jets.
That's right.
Yeah, but I was looking at Chris's stuff. I think he said that Surtain was only on Diggs like 40% of his routes. I'd have to.
No, I looked at it. It was like 58.
Okay,
that counts as a shadow.
Yeah.
Or maybe even 68. Yeah, this is a perfect get right spot. I'm with you. I think Shakir is like a legitimately awesome play.
Yeah.
He's been damn good this year. And he's finally getting like a substantial role, 69% route share over the last 4 weeks. He's been productive with that. He ranks third among all wide receivers with 100 routes in yards per route run from the slot. Dalton Kincaid, I think, is just like clearly eclipsed Gabe Davis as the number 2. Like I'm not going to play Gabe Davis.
Yeah, why would you ever throw to Gabe again when you've got Dalton Kincaid? Like,
no, exactly.
Dude, Gabe is just clearing stuff out. He's seriously just doing his cardio at this point. I mean,
he's been so consistent too. Top 5 tight end every single week. It feels like
the only argument for him is like the Eagles are so bad and they've given up so many touchdowns. But I mean, Gabe is just,
and I think he'll be unowned.
Yeah.
Just because he's the same price as Kincaid, essentially.
Yeah, you're definitely mixing in Gabe a little with Allen, but yeah, he's certainly not a priority. I prefer Shakir straight up. That's about all. I think that's really it, man. Super condensed game too. This is a great game.
Yeah, I think DeAndre Swift is interesting too, but just because.
Don't think
he's going to get much play.
Leverage? Is he the ultimate leverage? Is James Cook in play as leverage?
I mean, I guess James Cook would be leverage, but he is what, 6,200? I mean, I guess. I just never played James Cook. I just have like a thing against playing him. I mean, I don't love Swift, but I think he has some appeal on Josh Allen, bringbacks on Josh Allen teams.
Yeah, I was talking to Joe in like week 2 or 3 about James Cook, and it just kind of like hit me that like Cook's a good season-long play, but an awful DFS play every week. And ever since I had that thought, I just really haven't thought about playing Cook in DFS.
Yeah.
If
the
Jake were
touchdowns-
here, he'd talk up Latavius Murray.
This might be the week they have to bring up Fournette too. By the way.
Oh wow,
Yeah.
yeah. You always run that risk.
Yeah. I mean, James Cook is just like he's Amir Abdullah, and that's just what he's going to be.
Johnny,
He's-
just tell me
He's
who the
better-
cash quarterback is.
He's better than Abdullah, but
I just mean like the role where
The
they
role,
just like
yeah.
play him between the 20s and then they put him on the bench.
I got you. Yeah.
What's up, Scott?
Gun to your head, cash quarterback, Allen Hurts.
Hurts. I think like the QB sneaks at the 1 yard line are
Bro,
just
the
like
push. The push
Yeah.
is just you have to account for the push. You really
It
do.
just gives you that like it's like the odds of hitting his ceiling are just higher because of that annoying play.
Yep. Yeah, I mean, you just know anytime they get into like the 1.5, that's what they're
Yeah.
doing.
But I
And
do think like
they've only got stopped 4 times out of like 55.
but I think right now, like the only quarterback on the slate who can score 50 is Allen with Hurts, like with the knee thing.
Yeah.
Well, Allen's banged up too, just not as much as Hurts.
I think he's like the healthiest he's been in a while.
I wanted to say Allen had like the way better matchup because this has been like a great matchup all year, but Buffalo's had a number of injuries to their defense.
Yeah. They're really banged up and they have
But they've tightened up against the run actually. But
as
they've been
as
risky
crazy as it is for the Bills, if they win this game, they go into their bye, they'll be 7-5. Really good spot, obviously, with Burrow gone and Browns playing DTR. They've got to be looking at this game like if we can win this game, go into the bye at 7-5, they'd be looking really, really good in terms of the AFC. So,
Scott, what was Allen's average depth of target last week?
Oh, I have no idea. You want me to pull it?
If you can, because I know it had dropped after he like rebanged that elbow.
Yeah, I think it bounced back.
But
And he's running more to compensate possibly.
Well, I feel like it came back up last week. I mean, he kind of sucked against the Jets, but I
that
feel
throw to Shakir last week confirmed that his arm's fine to me. I mean, that was an absolute rope.
yeah, I just feel like it was back up last week.
Yeah.
Every time you say Shakira, I think Shakira.
Yeah,
You're gonna get Trey to make a video.
Oh, baby, when you dance like that. Show's going off the rail here, boys.
yeah. And his adjusted yards per attempt were back up too. So I feel like Allen's healthy again. That's kind of the thought in my head of him having a higher ceiling than Hurts. Just Hurts gets to his ceiling easier.
7.0 ADOT. Ranked dead last in depth adjusted completion percentage last week, though.
I was gonna say, yeah, 7's pretty low because when he's really healthy, it's like 9. Yeah. Maybe I'm wrong.
Could be a schematic thing too. Last week, Jets just do not give up anything deep. I know they did today, but that's Tyreek and Waddle. Gabe Davis isn't getting deep on anybody. That's all I got here. Chiefs Raiders. We'll finish it out here. Chiefs getting 10. Scott, you were asking me about this a minute ago. It was 9.5 all week. I don't know if Crosby's been officially ruled out. I think he's doubtful now, though. So this did move to 10. Over-under's 43. Mecole Hardman's going to miss the game with a thumb. Jerick McKinnon's going to miss the game with a groin injury. And I wanted to ask you guys this. So, I was looking at this before the show. Clyde Edwards-Helaire has not played a single third down snap. I thought the data suite was broken. I had to re-query it. He has literally not played a third down snap the entire year. That's McKinnon's entire role. So if Pacheco is going to get all that against the Raiders with no Max Crosby, yeah, man, he's a really strong play. Johnny, I'll throw it to you first for your thoughts on this game.
Yeah, is McKinnon officially?
Yeah, he's out. Yeah, he didn't practice all week, I don't believe.
That's a 30% snap share, 35% inside the red zone.
Yep, officially.
Bro,
out.
McKinnon has played 60% of his routes have come just strictly on third downs. And then you mix in some of the red zone stuff too. It's a significant bump.
Yeah, I mean, when I adjust for McKinnon, Pacheco will probably move right behind Taylor in terms of like value for me. He's hard not to play. Chiefs defense should be the highest owned defense on the slate too. I think Patriots will probably end up higher owned, but I think I prefer the Chiefs.
Good call.
And just because I think the Chiefs will be more aggressive, more likely to be ahead. And so, if people are not projecting, if people aren't really moving Pacheco's projections up with the McKinnon news, then he'll probably be my highest owned running back.
I legitimately think the Max Crosby news is just as impactful, and they're both huge. Max Crosby would have been my vote for DPOY. Easily leads the league in run stops, and no one else on the Raiders have done nothing on the ground, and then through the air easily leads the league in pressure market share. He's the entirety of this defense, and it's been a good defense just because of him. You take him out, there were a few primetime games where I feel like he swung, if he wasn't in play, the other team would have 10 more points over the opponent or more. I think that's massive. So obviously Pacheco is a great play. Still, you could question his upside because Mahomes is just the Chiefs are just the most pass heavy team of all time inside the red zone. He is such a touchdown hog. It's insane. He only has 2 touchdowns outside the red zone this year, but every time he goes in there, he wants his TDs. I think he's a good play, a good contrarian play. Everyone targeting Eagles and Bills, and rightfully so. But I mean, this is a very winnable spot. No one wants to play him. How do you stack him? What's that?
How do you stack him?
Justin Watson, Travis Kelce.
So the most popular stat, that's if anyone plays Mahomes with a double, that's just what they're going to play.
If not for drops, he would have scored at least 29 fantasy points last week. No one wants to play them because that's in the back of their mind. Bring back is really tough. I would say Jacoby or Michael Mayer, but I don't feel good about it. Only thing about Jacoby is this is the exact same spot as week 1, where it's a brutal shadow matchup for Adams and a great schematic matchup. But Aiden O'Connell is just totally neglecting him. And this is a defensive minded run first head coach.
I mean, I think Jacoby might have hit on his girlfriend or something. He just does not get the ball anymore.
I mean, the other 2 quarterbacks were peppering him just as much as Adams. It was crazy.
Yeah. I think it would be Mayer for me. I want basically no Adams in this spot. I mean, his ceiling is just so much lower with O'Connell. He is getting the ball. I mean, the first 3 target shares are bananas for him: 50, 32, 50, and 35%. Just really strong. But last week Antonio Pierce was basically saying we didn't run it enough with Jacobs. Raiders in those 2 past games, O'Connell's first 2 starts after they benched Jimmy, they were 10% negative pass rate under expectations. So I think Raiders are going to come out and play slow. They're going to try to run it.
And not have much success. Yeah. Jacobs is drawing ownership. He's not a good play.
No, I'm not going to play him again. No. I mean, I think Adams is who I would play as the bring back, just in hopes of him catching a deep ball and sort of
right.
He's been so bad a little bit, but I think if you played a Mahomes double, it's probably you just play the double and you don't bring it back. And I think if I played a Mahomes double, I might play Rashee Rice over Justin Watson. Just hope that he gets a little more. I just think it's the Mahomes, Watson, Travis Kelce is just going to be so. If you play Mahomes, that's going to be so owned. So I just feel like you're going to end up with the same team as everyone else.
Yeah, that's been the problem with Mahomes all year. The stackability has just not been there, really. And the ceiling for him has just not been there. But I mean, this is such a good spot, man. Chiefs should roll. I think that'll do it. You guys want to make a lineup real quick while we got some time?
Sure.
Let's do it. All right. Where Proctor, since you're back, man, where do you want to start this build?
Do we? How are we built? Scott always wants to know like what we're building for. What are we building for? We doing a Millie team? We doing?
Yeah, let's just call it. We'll call it Millie. Call it
All
largest field.
I'm gonna do a start with a Kyler McBride.
Like it. And then I think
Play
you and I are
boy
both on
Scott's-
Kyron.
Yeah, we can play Scott's boy Dortch.
I'm good with that too. Kyron, and then we'll play McBride and whoops. All right,
Get some
3,300
input from Scott here.
All right,
Scott.
Scott, we got a Kyler, McBride, Dortch with Kyron game stack for large field tournament. You got any takes? Any guys you got to play? Oh God, you're on mute. It hit.
Damn it.
Hour and 20 minutes.
Ugh.
You stepped away, I think, to go to the bathroom, and it hit.
Well, I did it 2 other times and you guys just missed it. So give me one Texans
to still drink.
Give me one Texans receiver, one Colts receiver. Downs and Dell.
All right.
Downs and Dell. Okay.
Downs and Dell.
I like it.
Dell and Downs.
Do you want
Sounds like a
Downs or
comedy
do you want Downs or do you want Jonathan Taylor, Scott? Guess we could play Taylor too.
Yeah, you could play Taylor. Why not? We got the salary to it for it easily.
That's the problem is like I keep building teams with a ton of savings and then there's no one really I want to pay up for.
Yeah, this week is.
I think
I'm gonna click optimize real quick. Yeah, Chiefs, Rashad. Yeah, damn, 1170. The optimizer, same thing, leaving 700 on the board.
That's wild.
Yeah.
Is there? I'm just trying to. Let's see. Yeah, it's because there's no like 5K wide receiver except for Scott's boy Cortland Sutton. That's really it's really like in play, like low fives.
Yeah, and the running back board is just so. There's, obviously so many good plays, and it's just flat across the board, pretty much in the 6K range. It's definitely gonna lead to a kind of a weird week on DK for sure. Johnny, you have any other final ownership takes?
I'm trying to. Let's see. We've got Dell and Downs, right?
Yeah.
So then, do we play Rashad White instead of Jonathan Taylor?
And then who did we?
Let's see.
Yeah, that had.
Because Taylor's going to be
Massive chalk.
Taylor's going to be the most popular running back, I think. Yeah.
Let's see something. We lock in Rashad, no Taylor.
Who was the?
Still gives us Taylor. He just projects so well.
I know.
Yeah.
And then
Let's do AJ Brown and then see what we can do.
I'll take out White. Just see. Kyron, Najee.
So Warren instead of Najee then?
Yeah. And went to Bills D. I don't even know how much Bills D is here. 27.
You want to do a cash lineup, Johnny?
we could try. I feel like I don't have a good read on where we're at on cash games yet because nobody's updated their projections.
Well, it's Jonathan Taylor, Pacheco.
I don't think it's going to. I don't know if it's going to be Pacheco.
Interesting.
That's what's really interesting to me about Pacheco.
Yeah.
It's because the main reason I think that on Pacheco is he has been he's been a cash staple like 3 times, and he's busted every time. Anyways,
all right, we'll figure it out.
Yeah.
Watch out.
Yeah. All right, good stuff, boys. Yeah, great show. Good luck in week 12, everybody. I'll see you guys at the top of the leaderboards for Scott, for Johnny, for Tommy. Tips behind the glass. We'll see you guys next week. Good luck.